Now, so many in the 3D printing community have been hard at work printing up PPE and other equipment and needs for the healthcare and medical community. I'm fairly new to 3D printing, and I had just really gotten a 3D printer, and I was trying to figure out how I could lend a hand when a nurse that's friends with my wife contacted us and asked if we might be able to provide her with some of these ear savers. If you think about it, like all throughout the country, those in the healthcare industry not only need to have those N95 and respiratory good quality masks, but you've got countless folks that if they're not right in front of a COVID patient, still need to be protected. So you've got your doctors, nurses, others working in the healthcare industry, the janitorial, custodian, and administrative staff. All of them need to be protected. So a lot of those folks are wearing cloth or surgical masks. The problem with those kind of masks is that they were only meant to be worn for a short period of time in a sterile environment, like in an operating room. And so they weren't designed to be worn for 12 hours, 14 hours at a time, where some of these people are having to do that now. And so they were designed with straps that go behind the ears, and that's how they hold them in place. And the problem with that is that after a while, it creates these sore spots on the ears. It makes them real red. And with everything else that these folks have got to deal with on the front lines, that's one thing that if we could help out to help them focus better on things that they need to do to have an impact, then it can go a long way. And you got to remember that a lot of people on the front lines are going to need to stay well protected till well after there's a vaccine in place. So the need for these are going to be months and months down the road. Also, those types of masks that these work with are meant to be disposable, not sterilized. And so these fall along the same lines, especially for those that are doing 3D printing. Not many people have surgical grade PLA or plastic that they're printing with. And so these are meant to be disposable, and so there's a great need for these. I've been printing these. So far, I am sending them out to 2 different hospitals that I've got contacts with. But one of the things that I wanted to do from the get-go, being the detail-oriented guy that I am, everything for me evolves around efficiency. So I went ahead and did a lot of different tests and samples, basically changing a few of the settings in the slicer to see what would give me the best end result and be able to print out the product in the quickest amount of time using the least amount of plastic, and also still provide for a good, solid, stable design that looked attractive at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do. Basically go over some of those settings that I went ahead and tweaked that you may want to tweak and play with. I'm also going to go over the settings that I ended up settling with and show you those. So let's get to it. First of all, we're going to check it on standard quality, the preset that comes in Cura, the standard quality for the 0.4 millimeter nozzle. I'm going to go ahead and slice that, take a look and see how long it takes. It takes 2 hours and 38 minutes. So our goal is to get that lower. First, we're going to go ahead and change that to low quality, just load in some presets that help it to shave off some time. We're going to see that takes it down some. The layer height, you can go safely up to 80% of your nozzle width. So we're going to trim that down to 0.32. Take a look at what that does. That takes it down quite a bit. So we're going to go from there. Wall line count. This is something we can change. I found the best for this design is to 7 or 8. Actually takes off maybe another minute compared to 6. I just like the way that the 6 prints up, and you're going to see the difference here in those lines printed along the outside edge. What that does is the hot end is able to go and print these lines a lot faster than it's able to do that cross hatching in the fill areas. So that's going to shave off some time for our model as well. Now we're going to go ahead and change the print speed, and we're going to go and tweak some of these settings in a second. And we're also going to remove this skirt. We do not need any build plate adhesion types on this. So now we're going to slice that and see what it says. We're down to 1 hour and 28 minutes. Great. So we're going to go into the settings here, take a look at speed settings. And like I said, a lot of people like to just bump up that print speed to 100 and go crazy with it. Problem is a lot of these other speed settings take their settings from that overall print speed. So you see the wall speed is at 50%. So if you were at 100, that actually would go to 50 behind the scenes. So instead of doing all that behind the scenes, we're just going to change that to 60 for the wall speed as well as the top bottom speed. And the initial layer speed is good to keep low because you want your initial layer to print reliably well. I've found that if I go above 30, like 40 or so, then I end up having a lot of problems. But I'm pretty safe going up to 30, so we're going to bump that initial layer up to 30. All right, so we're going to slice that and see where we're at. We're at 1 hour and 6 minutes. So one last thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to type in width up here to bring our width settings. You can take a look at the initial layer line width. Now this is something, if you have problems with adhesion or if you have problems with extrusion, this is a good setting to play around with as it forces out more filament, gives you thicker lines on your first layer that's usually hidden. We're going to do that to be able to print that first layer quicker and set it to 150%. So that's just going to double up your lines. We're going to go ahead, not double it up, set your lines width to 150%. So we're down to 59 minutes. Great. That is what we wanted to see. A significant improvement over our 2 hours and 38 minutes. So those are some of the settings that you can do to change your print speed, but I actually found something that works better for me, and I'm going to go ahead and show you that in a second after we go over the changes that I made to the model design. So I've got the original model pulled up here in Fusion 360, and for some reason that original model is scaled up 10 times the size, so just keep that in mind as we take a look at things. I wanted to show you, when we take a look at the height of that band, it's registering around 10 millimeters. So a scale of 10, that's really about 1 millimeter for that band height. But when we take a look at the tabs, those tabs are an additional 1 millimeter height. So we've got those tabs that are actually twice the height of that band. So that's one thing to just keep in mind real quick. Another thing to note is that we are at a rounded out 1 millimeter, where the full height of the tabs is 2 millimeters, the full height of the band is 1 millimeter, so we're pretty much using just a standard measurement there. Now what I did is I went ahead and took the measurements of that original design, basically recreated it. You can see the differences here. Pretty much exactly the same. The only difference really is the little filleting that I did around the corners just to give it kind of a curved design there. And so the couple things that I did to kind of optimize this design, number one is if you see the difference in the layer height, went ahead and optimized it for that 0.32 millimeter layer height. And so the difference is that now whenever we slice this, the G code knows exactly, there are no rounding out, doesn't have to round out to 1 millimeter and figure if it needs to do another pass, it knows exactly how many layers it needs to print. So went ahead and it's going to print at a 0.32 millimeter layer height. It's going to make 3 passes to do the band. And the other thing that I did is I went ahead and basically took off 1 layer off of the tabs. And you can see that a little bit clearer. Go ahead and show you this. So you know the original model that we looked at, the tabs are twice the height of the band. And here you can see they're 0.64 millimeters, which is 2 additional passes rather than 3 that you had on the original design to get the full height of those tabs. And what I found is that there's really not a big difference at all when you do that. You could probably even actually shave off another layer, but it just doesn't look as nice. It's really more for aesthetics. Here you can see the difference side by side, what those heights look like. This is just slightly shorter here. So that allows us to print the whole model in 5 passes at the 0.32 millimeter layer height as opposed to 6, save off some additional time and also save us some plastic without compromising the build quality at all. So I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description to my remix of this so that you can use it if you want to shave off that additional layer. And here you can see back in Cura, I'm using the same exact settings that we were just looking at. where we were getting about 59 minutes for the standard model. We've got it down here to 54 minutes with a design that I tweaked. More significantly, we've got down to 14 grams of plastic compared to 16. So this is going to make your PLA last longer if you're printing out a ton of these, and also those minutes are going to add up over time. If you take a look at the preview, you'll see that we are printing in 5 layers as compared to the 6 that are in that original design. Now I'm going to show you real quick the settings that I actually am using and the ones that I prefer. And I've got a profile that I set up here, so I am just going to change it to that profile. I'm going to go over the differences that you'll see in from the last example. So I still got the 0.32 millimeter layer height. I've got the 6 wall counts. I've still got the 60 print speed over here. A lot of these on this front page are about the same, but if I go a little bit deeper into settings here, I'll take the speed, actually kept it down at 30 for the wall speed and the top and bottom speed. So as opposed to having it set at 60, I'm doing those at 30. I've kept the initial layer print speed at 30, and all those settings are the same. But if we go into width, you'll see what I did is I changed the initial layer line width back to 100, but I bumped up the line width to 0.6 millimeter line width. So effectively what that's doing is printing that 150% layer line width on every layer. So if we take a look in preview, we go ahead and slice this. We were at what, 54 with the original settings. So this is actually just slightly faster. It's really about the same. I just like the way this looks, and it's a little bit more consistent in terms of the quality that I get with being able to run it at a slower speed. And you'll see here, those walls actually go through and end up at the top build as well. So that's the settings that I'm printing with. Here's the 0.6 line width for the 0.4 millimeter nozzle at the 30 print speed with 6 walls. And you can go with either or. You can do a test print with the speed settings that I went over first, and then change it to these width-based settings and then do a test run on those, and whatever works better for you, go ahead and use.
So now we get to see what this means. We've got the original over here with the standard quality. We've got the original over here with the speed tweaked in settings. We've got the redesigned model with the widest settings. And here we have a two with the widest settings. Let's go. That is our latest.
Now, if you recently got a 3D printer, and I know that there's a lot of folks that have just got them for the first time since they're at home and quarantined and looking for something to do, if that's you and you're looking to help contribute to this movement, I'm going to go ahead and leave some links in the description below for ways that you can get hooked up with one of those organizations or hospitals in need. But really the best way to do that is to reach out to somebody that you know in the healthcare field, or call your local hospital or doctor's office and see if they have a need for any of the things that you might be able to 3D print at home. If you've been doing any 3D printing at home to help out during this crisis, please leave a comment below about what you've been experiencing. I don't know what stuff you've been printing, contacts that you've made, needs, or just anything in general that you've kind of experienced during this. I'd love to know your thoughts. Thanks, and I hope that this video has helped you save some time with your projects, and I hope that you were able to find time for your projects. Until next time, I'll see you later.
With dividing settings, divide, send, and that.
Don't know.